I remember the night everything changed. Even now, the memory sits heavy on my chest. I stood in the driveway, watching Lina wipe her tears with the back of her hand. She kept shaking her head like she couldn't believe what I had just said. "Just say it clearly," she whispered. "Do you really want her instead of me?" My throat tightened. "Lina, I just think Sara and I have history. I can't ignore that." "History?" Her voice cracked. "And what about everything we built?" "I'm sorry," I said, even though the words felt wrong the moment they left my mouth. She hugged herself, stepping away from me. "You're choosing the wrong person, and you know it." "No," I lied. "I know what I'm doing." She stared at me for a long time, like she was searching for something in my eyes. Then she whispered, "I hope someday you understand what you lost." And she walked away. I didn't follow her. I told myself it was the right choice. I told myself Sara was the one who loved me more. I kept repeating those thoughts like a prayer, hoping they'd become true. When I walked back inside, my mother looked up from the kitchen. "Did Lina leave already?" she asked gently. "Yeah," I muttered. "You should think before you hurt someone like her," she said. "That girl cared for you." "Mom, please don't start." "I'm not starting," she said. "I'm warning you." I brushed past her and pretended her words didn't bother me. The first week with Sara felt fine, almost exciting. She held my arm tightly, kissed me often, and kept saying she was glad I finally made the right choice. But small things bothered me. Little things I ignored. "Sara, who keeps texting you?" I asked one night. "It's just a friend," she said, sliding her phone face down. "Don't be jealous." "I'm not jealous. I just asked." She sighed loudly. "You're always trying to control everything." I blinked. "I only asked one question." "Well, stop asking." I let it go, though something twisted in my stomach. I told myself I was imagining things. I told myself relationships needed patience. I told myself Lina had been too sensitive, too emotional, too everything Sara claimed she wasn't. But one night, while we were out for dinner, her phone lit up again. She looked down, smiled, and typed quickly. "You want to share?" I asked. "Don't start," she snapped. "You ruin the mood." "What mood? We barely talked since we got here." She rolled her eyes. "Maybe you should try being fun instead of acting like a grandpa." That hit harder than it should have. "So now I'm boring?" "Sometimes," she said, shrugging. I leaned back, staring at her. "This isn't how you used to talk to me." She smirked. "Maybe now I'm honest." When we got home, I told myself she was just stressed, that she still loved me, that I shouldn't judge her so quickly. But a voice inside me whispered, "Lina never talked to you like this." I pushed the thought away and went to bed. The next day, my mother knocked on my door. "Are you okay?" "I am fine," I lied. "You don't look fine." "Mom, stop worrying." She sat beside me. "I can't. I know when you're hurting." "I'm not hurting," I insisted. "I just need time." She sighed. "I wish you had chosen someone who loved you gently." "Mom, I'm serious," she said softly. "Lina was good for you." I clenched my fists. "I can't go back to her." "I know," she said, "but I also know you didn't choose Sara with peace in your heart." Her words stayed with me the whole day. That night, Sara came home late. "Why are you awake?" she asked. "Just waiting." "For what?" she said, kicking off her shoes. "For you to talk to me." She laughed under her breath. "Talk? About what now?" I swallowed. "About us." "There is no us to discuss," she said. "Stop being dramatic." When she walked past me, I smelled a perfume that wasn't hers. My chest tightened so hard I couldn't breathe. "Sara, where were you?" She didn't answer. She just shrugged and said, "Out." "Out with who?" She glanced at me coldly. Does it matter? Yes, I whispered. It matters to me. She stared at me for a long moment, then scoffed. Maybe you should have stayed with Lina. She would have worshipped you. My stomach dropped. That was the first moment I truly felt fear. The fear that I had ruined my life with one choice. And the worst part? I had no one to blame but myself. I noticed it the moment Sara walked through the door that evening. She didn't smile at me. She didn't even look at me. She just tossed her bag onto the couch and checked her phone like she was waiting for someone else. You're late again, I said quietly. Yeah, she muttered. Work. That's what you said yesterday. She didn't respond. She just kept typing. I swallowed. Can you at least tell me what's going on? Nothing is going on, she said, rolling her eyes. Stop asking the same question. I'm asking because I care. Well, maybe care less. She brushed past me like I wasn't even there. I stood there, trying to breathe through the sting in my chest. When did you stop talking to me like a human being? She paused near the hallway. When you started acting like my father. I'm asking simple questions. Then stop, she snapped. I'm tired. Tired of me? I whispered. She didn't answer. She just walked into the bedroom and shut the door. I sat on the sofa, staring at my hands. Lina used to smile the moment I walked into a room. She'd say, "There you are." Like she finally found something she'd been missing. That warmth feels like a dream now. Something I lost because I chose wrong. I rubbed my face and whispered to myself, "What am I doing?" The next morning, my mother knocked on my door. "You're awake?" "Yeah," I said, forcing a calm voice. She looked at me with those eyes that saw through everything. "Are you happy?" "Yes," I lied. She didn't believe me. "You don't look it." I said, "I'm fine, Mom." "You said that yesterday." I felt irritation rising. "Can you stop checking on me like I'm a child?" She drew back slightly. "I'm checking because I care." "Well, maybe care less," I snapped. The moment the words left my mouth, guilt slammed into me. My mother looked down at the floor. "I didn't deserve that," she whispered. "I know," I said, voice cracking. "I'm sorry." She touched my shoulder gently. "I just want you to be okay." "I'm trying." That night, I woke up sweating. The same nightmare again. Lina walking away from me in slow motion, her voice echoing. "You're choosing the wrong person." I always tried to call her in the dream, but no sound came out. I sat up, breathing hard. "It's just a dream," I whispered. "Just a dream." But it didn't feel like one. It felt like a warning. When Sara finally came home the next evening, she walked straight to the mirror, fixing her hair like she'd come from somewhere fancy. "Where were you?" I asked. "Work." "At 11 p.m.? "Yes." "With who?" She glared at me. "Seriously? You're doing this again?" "I'm not trying to fight," I said. "I just want honesty." "Then stop assuming things." "I'm not assuming anything." "You are," she cut in. "You act like I owe you every detail of my life." "You're my girlfriend." "Barely," she muttered under her breath. My stomach tightened. "What did you just say?" "Nothing. Just drop it." "No," I whispered. "Say it again." She grabbed her phone and shook her head. "I don't want to do this." "Do what?" "Pretend this relationship works." The room went silent. I felt something inside me crumble. She softened her voice slightly. "Look, maybe we both need space." "Space?" I repeated. "From each other?" "From the drama," she said. "And you've been dramatic lately." I laughed bitterly. "I'm dramatic because I ask where you are? You're dramatic because you don't trust me." I stared at her. "Do I have a reason to trust you?" She didn't answer. Instead, she said, "I'm going to sleep." I whispered. "Do you even care anymore?" She didn't stop walking. Good night. When the door shut behind her, the room felt colder. The next morning, my sister Iman showed up out of nowhere. Mom said you've been weird. What's going on? Nothing, I said, grabbing a glass of water. You look like you haven't slept in days. I'm fine. Don't lie, she said. Why are your eyes red? I had a nightmare. About what? Someone I shouldn't think about. She stared at me. Lina? I froze. Iman sighed. You really messed things up with her, didn't you? I know, I whispered. I know I did. So why are you holding on to Sara like this? Because I chose her, I said. And I don't want to admit I ruined my life. She touched my arm gently. Sometimes we fix things by letting go, not holding tighter. I looked away. I wish it was that simple. It is, she said. You're just scared. Of what? Of karma, she whispered. And it's already coming for you. Her words stayed in my head long after she left. And deep down, I knew she was right. Something was coming. Something I wasn't ready for. I felt the shift the moment Sara started taking her phone everywhere. Even to the bathroom. She never used to do that. Now, she held it like it was oxygen. One evening, she sat on the couch laughing at her screen. Not at me. Not with me. At someone else. Who's that? I asked, trying to sound casual. No one, she said quickly, tilting her phone away. No one makes you laugh like that. She didn't even look up. Why are you acting jealous again? I'm not acting. I'm asking. Then stop asking, she snapped. You're suffocating me. I stared at her. All I want is honesty. Then trust me. How can I trust you when you hide everything? She groaned. I swear, you sound crazy. I leaned back, forcing myself to breathe. If you showed me the conversation, this would end. Well, I'm not showing you, she said sharply, because I don't need to prove anything to you. Then why smile like that at your phone but not at me? She finally looked up, cold, annoyed, distant. Because my phone doesn't interrogate me. Her words hit me so hard I went silent. She sighed heavily. I'm going out this weekend. With who? I asked. Friends. Which friends? You don't know them. Then tell me their names. God, you're impossible, she said, grabbing her bag. I need fresh air. I followed her to the door. Sara, wait. Can we talk? She didn't even turn around. Then talk to yourself. When the door slammed shut, the silence felt like a warning. That night, I called out, You home? When I heard the door click at 1 a.m. Yeah, she said, sounding breathless. You're late. Relax. I was with my co-workers. Which one? She hesitated a second too long. All of them. I stepped closer. Why do you smell different? She shrugged. New perfume. Don't overthink. It's a men's cologne. So, maybe I hug someone. Big deal. I froze. Who did you hug? She rolled her eyes. Why do you care so much? Because you're my girlfriend. Well, stop acting like a surveillance camera. I clenched my jaw. Who's Cameron? She stiffened instantly, but masked it with a scoff. Just a co-worker. You didn't mention him before. Because he doesn't matter. Then why did your voice change just now? She walked past me. I'm going to bed. I'm not doing this. When she slept beside me, I stared at the ceiling, my heart twisting. Her breathing was calm, peaceful. Mine wasn't. My hands shook as I tried to convince myself I was imagining things. But then her phone vibrated. Once. Twice. 3 times. She didn't wake up. I stared at the glowing light on the screen. My chest hammered. Don't do it, I whispered to myself. Don't check. But the phone kept buzzing, and she kept smiling in her sleep. Something she didn't do with me anymore. My hand moved before my brain agreed. I picked up the phone. My thumb hovered at the lock screen. She'd never changed her password. She didn't think she needed to. When the screen unlocked, the first message thread at the top showed a name I'd only heard once. Cameron. I clicked it. My heart cracked. Her messages were everywhere. Hearts, voice notes, midnight jokes, miss you texts, plans for Saturday, selfies she never sent me, and endless flirting. Then I saw the worst one. Sara. He's asleep. Call me. My hands went numb. Another message appeared while I was still staring. Cameron. Wish you were with me instead. I dropped the phone like it burned me. My heartbeat pounded in my ears. I stumbled off the bed and walked to the balcony because I needed air. I needed anything that wasn't her life-filled existence. When the cold breeze hit my face, I gripped the railing to stop myself from collapsing. I knew it, I whispered. I knew it. The city lights blurred through my tears. My chest tightened until I could barely breathe. Why did I choose her? I remembered Lina's broken expression the night I let her go. I remembered my mother's warnings. I remembered Iman telling me karma was coming. They were right. Every single one of them. I leaned my head back, staring at the dark sky. I deserve this, I whispered. I chose wrong. Behind me, I heard Sara stir in her sleep. I didn't turn around. I didn't want to see her. I didn't want to breathe the same air. All I could think was, how do I even look at her now? My hands wouldn't stop shaking. My breath wouldn't steady. And the truth echoed in my mind like a cruel laugh. I wasn't just heartbroken. I was the fool who walked straight into it. I need to talk to you, I said, my voice shaking as I stood in the doorway of our room. Sara didn't even look up from her suitcase. Can you stop packing for 1 minute? She sighed. What now? My throat tightened. I saw your messages. She froze, then slowly zipped the suitcase. So? I repeated, my voice cracking. You're asking me so? After everything I read? She finally turned, expression cold. So cold it made my skin crawl. I don't love you anymore, she said flatly. I stopped loving you a long time ago. I felt the words hit me like a blade. You're not even denying it? What's the point? You already saw everything. So Cameron is real? My nails dug into my palms. The late-night plans, the hearts, the way you smiled at your phone. Don't make this dramatic, she cut in, tossing a handful of clothes into her bag. Things happen. Things happen, I whispered. That's how you describe destroying someone? She shrugged. I told you I wasn't happy. No, I said, stepping forward. You lied. Every night. Every smile. Every I'm tired. Everything was a lie. Maybe, she admitted with a shrug. But you weren't exactly someone I could talk to. I stared at her, stunned. So cheating was easier than talking? Honestly? Yes. My legs gave out. I sank to the floor, hands trembling. Sara, I loved you. Well, I didn't, she replied, voice unchanging, almost bored. Not for a long time. Why didn't you say anything? I asked. Why make a fool out of me? Because you would have made it complicated. You always do. I stared at her, unable to breathe. And Cameron? Is he the reason you're leaving? She lifted her bag and headed toward the door. He's one reason, but not the only one. I pressed my palm to the floor, grounding myself because everything felt like it was tilting. Was any of it real? I whispered. Sara paused for 2 seconds, 2 painful seconds, and then said, not enough to stay. My chest tightened so hard I thought I'd faint. I gave you everything. And it still wasn't enough, she replied, walking past me. Let it go. The door clicked behind her like the world shutting off. I stared at the empty spot she left behind until my vision blurred. My breath came out jagged, uncontrollable. I pressed my forehead to my knees. What did I do? I muttered. What did I do wrong? My mind spun, dragging me back to the memory of Lina. Her trembling voice, her warm hug, her soft plea. Just don't hurt me. I felt something inside me tear open. Iman heard the commotion first. Bye, she called from outside. When she stepped in and saw me on the floor, her voice broke. Bye, what happened? What did she do? I couldn't speak. My chest shook violently as I sucked in air that never felt enough. Bye, talk to me, she whispered, kneeling beside me. What did she say? She never loved me. I choked out. Not for a long time. Iman's hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God! Bye! I shook my head desperately. I thought I could fix it. I thought she was just stressed. I kept making excuses. Iman placed a hand on my shoulder. You don't deserve this. I laughed, but it came out broken, ugly. Maybe I do. No, she snapped gently. Don't say that. Before I could respond, my mother rushed in. Kia hua? Tum thik tu ho. She stopped when she saw my face. Ya Allah! She hurried to me, pulling me into her arms like I was a child again. The moment she touched me, everything inside me collapsed. I broke, completely. My voice cracked as I clutched her clothes. Amit wo chali gai. My mother stroked my hair, her voice trembling. Beta, ro lo. Dil halka ho jayega. Tum akele nahi ho. I chose the wrong person, I whispered, barely audible. Ami, I chose wrong. Her arms tightened around me. We warned you, Beta. I know, I cried. I know. Lina warned me too. She said she didn't want to be hurt. And I hurt her. I hurt everyone. Iman's voice softened. But you're hurting too, Bai. No one deserves betrayal. I felt empty, hollow. Like someone scooped out everything warm inside me and filled the space with smoke. I don't know what to do now, I whispered. My mother kissed my forehead. We'll rebuild, Beta. One day at a time. But all I felt was humiliation, loneliness, and a crushing ache that didn't let me breathe. And for the first time in years, I wished I could go back in time. Back to the moment I walked away from the person who actually loved me. A week passed, but it felt like a month of breathing underwater. I barely stepped out of my room. Every time someone knocked, I pretended I was asleep. I didn't want questions. I didn't want pity. I didn't want anyone to look at me like the fool I'd become. One evening, my mother quietly walked in and sat beside me. Beta, she said softly. Yesab andar mat debeo. I'm not talking about it again, I muttered, staring at the wall. She placed a hand on my arm. Talking helps. It doesn't, I whispered. Nothing helps. She hesitated, then asked, Tumabi bi apni apko blame kar rahi ho? I should, I said. I should blame myself. My mother sighed deeply. Beta, we all make mistakes. Some mistakes destroy people. I replied, voice low. She stayed silent for a moment, then said something I wasn't ready for. Shayad, kuch darwazai abhi bhi ban nahi hu. I frowned. What's that supposed to mean? She took a breath. I'm talking about Lina. My chest tightened instantly. Amadont, please. Why? She asked gently. Uska naam sunkar tumhari halat kyun kharab ho jati hai? Because I don't deserve to even say her name. I snapped, then quickly looked away. I don't deserve anything related to her. She squeezed my hand. Beta, प्यार इंसान को बेहतर बनाने के लिए होता है. तुम दोनों की कहानी खत्म नहीं हुई शायद. It ended the day I walked away, I said quietly. Before she could respond, Iman poked her head in. Ami, can I talk to him? Alone? My mother nodded and stood up. Thik hai, main bahar hoon. Iman came in and sat on the edge of the bed. You look terrible, she said bluntly. Thanks, I muttered. Bye, look at me, she insisted. I didn't. She sighed. Fine. I'll talk, you listen. Lina is doing well. I clenched my fists. Good. She deserves that. No, you don't get it, Iman said. She's doing really well. She's stronger now. More confident. Happier. The words stung worse than Sara's betrayal. I'm glad she healed. Iman watched my reaction carefully. It bothers you, doesn't it? It should, I whispered. I hurt her more than anyone. Bye, she said softly. She's not angry anymore. That makes it worse, I replied, voice breaking. She healed from me, and I'm still bleeding from my own choices. Iman lowered her voice. Do you still think about her? I swallowed hard. Every day. Then why don't you? I can't, I interrupted. I don't deserve her. I didn't back then, and I definitely don't now. Iman leaned closer. People make mistakes, Bai. You're acting like you're the only person who's ever chosen wrong. You didn't see her face the day I left, I said, pulling my hands through my hair. She said, just don't hurt me. And I walked away anyway. Maybe she forgave you, Iman said. Maybe she moved on. That's the problem, I said, forcing a bitter laugh. She moved on. I'm stuck here. A voice came from the doorway. Stuckness ends when you decide to stand up. It was Uncle Farid, leaning on his cane, his calm eyes studying me. I stiffened. Uncle, I don't want to talk right now. Good, he said, stepping inside. Then listen. You look like a man who has stopped believing in himself. I have good reason, I muttered. He sat in the chair beside my bed. Your reason is pain. Pain lies. I shook my head. This isn't lying. I ruined everything. Ruin is only final if you refuse to rebuild, he replied. I looked up, meeting his gaze. You don't understand. I understand perfectly, he said. You chose someone who didn't choose you. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. I swallowed. And Lina? His expression softened. Lina was a gift you didn't know how to hold yet. That hit deep. Too deep. I can't go back, I whispered. Maybe you're not meant to go back, he said. Maybe you're meant to go forward. With honesty, with humility, with growth. I'm not ready. No one ever is, he said gently. But healing starts the moment you stop hiding. Iman nodded in agreement. He's right, Bai. I leaned back, exhaling shakily. I don't know if I'll ever be the person Lina deserved. Uncle Farid smiled faintly. Then become someone you can respect. After that, everything else finds its place. For the first time in days, I didn't feel like suffocating. I still felt broken, shattered even, but something inside me shifted. Maybe healing didn't start with hope. Maybe it started with honesty. I only went to the cafe because I couldn't stay home anymore. My mother kept checking on me. Iman kept watching me like I might break again. I needed air. Just 1 hour of silence. But the moment I stepped inside the cafe, my breath caught in my throat. Lina was there, sitting by the window, sunlight on her hair, a calmness around her I had never seen before. She looked whole, strong, beautiful in a way that stabbed me right in the chest. Before I could turn away, she looked up. Our eyes met. She froze for a second, then gave me a polite, distant smile. The kind people give strangers. Hi, she said softly. Lina. My voice cracked. Wow. Hi. She nodded at the empty chair. You can sit if you want. If I want, I repeated with a shaky laugh as I Saturday. I didn't expect to see you here. I come here often, she said, stirring her coffee. It's quiet. Good for work. You're working here? I asked. She smiled a little. Not at the cafe. I mean, I work from here sometimes. My company lets me. Company? She had a company now. That's amazing, I said. Really? I'm proud of you. Thank you. Her tone was calm, steady. No emotion, no anger, no softness, just distance. It hurt more than I expected. What do you do now? I asked. I'm leading the design team, she said. We expanded recently. A lot of responsibility, but it's good pressure. That's incredible, I whispered. She shrugged lightly. Life changes when you stop depending on the wrong people. My throat tightened. I deserve that. I wasn't trying to hurt you, she said. I just meant I grew up. I can see that, I said. You look different. She raised an eyebrow. Better or worse? Better, I said instantly. Much better. She nodded, accepting it without surprise. I worked hard on myself. I can tell. She took a sip of coffee, then looked out the window. So, how have you been? The question felt polite. Nothing more. Like she was talking to someone she once knew and no longer cared about. I've been. I exhaled, trying to figure things out. That's good, she said. Clarity helps. Clarity. The one thing I never had when I needed it most. Before I could say anything else, a girl walked toward us, confident, sharp-eyed, carrying 2 iced coffees. She stopped at our table and looked at me suspiciously. Lina, everything okay? She asked. Lina smiled. Yeah. Ria, this is an old friend. Old friend. Not ex. Not someone who broke her heart. Just old friend. Right. Ria said slowly. And you are? I swallowed. I'm him. Her eyes widened slightly. Oh, him. Lina sighed softly. Ria, please. Ria crossed her arms. What? I'm not saying anything. Just observing. It's fine, I said quietly. I earned it. Ria raised an eyebrow. At least he knows. Ria, Lina said again, firmer this time. Please. Ria sighed and sat down at the next table. Fine. I'll be over here. But I'm listening. I almost smiled. She's protective. She's a good friend, Lina said. Everyone needs one. I'm glad you have someone like her, I said honestly. I needed someone like her, Lina replied. The words had weight. They told a story I wasn't part of anymore. Lina. I leaned forward slightly. Can I ask something? She nodded. Go ahead. When you saw me just now, did it hurt? She paused, then shook her head gently. No. I stared at her. Not even a little? No, she said calmly. Not anymore. The words hit harder than any punch. She wasn't angry. She wasn't sad. She wasn't broken. She was healed. And I was the one lingering in the ruins. That's good, I whispered. You deserve peace. I worked for it, she said. But I hope you find yours too. Not sure I know how, I said. You will, she said simply. Pain teaches. You're right, I murmured. She checked her watch. I should go. I have a meeting soon. Oh, I said. Yeah, of course. She stood, picking up her bag. Take care of yourself. You too. She gave me one last polite smile. The kind you give a stranger you'll never meet again. Then she walked away. Ria followed her, but paused beside me. For what it's worth, she's better without you. But maybe you can be better because of her. I nodded. Maybe. She left, and I sat there, staring at the empty chair across from me. Sara broke my heart. But Lina's distance, Lina's peace, Lina's calm, that shattered me in ways I didn't know were possible. I walked into the living room hoping for a quiet morning. But the moment my grandmother saw me, she sighed in that deep, disappointed way that always hit harder than yelling. Beta, she said, shaking her head. You should have married Lina. That girl had a heart made of gold. I rubbed my forehead. Nanny, please not today. She clicked her tongue. Every day should be the day you hear the truth. I didn't argue. I didn't have the energy. Ayman walked in with a plate of toast. She's right, you know, she said casually. Lina was perfect for you. Can we not do this every morning? I muttered. We'll stop when it stops being true. Ayman shot back. I dropped onto the sofa. I get it, okay? I messed up. Messed up? Nanny scoffed. No, Beta. You ruined your own life. We all told you. I know, I said, my voice too soft. But she wasn't done. Lina used to visit me, Nanny continued, her eyes softening. She brought flowers. She sat with me. She made me laugh. Tell me, who does that now? I swallowed hard. No one. And whose fault is that? She asked. Mine, I whispered. She nodded, satisfied that I finally admitted it out loud. Ayman sat beside me. Mom was talking about you last night. She said you're drifting. I'm fine, she said. Ayman continued, ignoring me. Sometimes we only realize someone's worth when they stop waiting. The words hit harder than she knew. Great, I muttered. So now everyone has a quote ready for me. Ayman frowned. Why are you snapping at us? We're not the ones who cheated on you. I'm not snapping, I said. You are, she shot back. Okay, fine, I am. I admitted, leaning back. I see Lina everywhere. Even when she's not here. Nanny softened. Guilt stays until it teaches you something. I think it already has. Ayman raised an eyebrow. Has it? I didn't answer. Before I could escape, Uncle Farid walked in with his usual calm presence. Are people haunting you with Lina again? He asked. Uncle, please. He sat down across from me. She was the best thing that ever happened to you, and the only thing you threw away with pride. I let out a long breath. I know. I'm not saying this to hurt you, he continued. I'm saying it because you still have a chance to become someone she would respect. She doesn't even look at me the same way anymore, I said. I'm a stranger to her. A stranger can become an example, he replied. But a coward stays invisible. I stared at him. You think I'm a coward? I think you're scared of facing your own reflection, he said. Which is worse? His words stayed with me long after he left the room. I finally got up and went to my room, shutting the door behind me. My phone buzzed on the table. I ignored it at first, but it kept buzzing. When I finally picked it up, I froze. Sara is calling. Ayman knocked. Who is it? No one important, I said and declined the call. A second later, a message came through. Sara, please can we talk? It's urgent. I stared at the screen. Urgent. She had the audacity to use that word. Another message. Sara, Cameron left. It wasn't what I thought. Everything is falling apart. I laughed, painfully, humorlessly. Of course it is, I murmured. Ayman stepped inside without waiting. Why are you laughing like a villain? I handed her the phone. She read the messages and snorted. Oh, she's crashing. Publicly, I added. I saw the posts. People are already talking. And she's coming back to you because you're her safe place, Ayman said. Don't be stupid again. I'm not, I said. You sure? I looked at the phone again. The screen lit up with another message. Sara, I need you. I pressed block. Ayman blinked. Wait, did you just? Yes, I said. I'm done. For once, saying it didn't hurt. Ayman smiled proudly. Good. I sat down on my bed and exhaled. But even as relief washed over me, another voice echoed through my mind. My mother's. Sometimes we only realize someone's worth when they stop waiting. Nanny's too. You should have married Lina. And Uncle Farid's. Become someone she would respect. Everywhere I turned, every person I loved, every voice pointed toward the same truth. Not even about love, but about the man I used to be, and the man I had to become. Yet the one voice I couldn't stop hearing was Lina's soft, distant high. And the worst part? She no longer needed me. But I still needed her more than ever. When I walked into the quiet cafe, my hands were shaking so badly I had to shove them into my pockets. I kept telling myself, just breathe. Just say what you came to say. But the moment Lina stepped inside, every bit of air vanished from my lungs. She looked composed, calm, almost glowing in a way that made my chest ache. When she reached my table, she gave a small, polite smile. "Hi," she said softly. "Hi," I whispered back, trying not to sound like my throat was closing. "Thanks for coming." She sat down, folding her hands neatly. "You sounded like you needed to talk." "I do," I said quickly. "I really do." She nodded, waiting. That silence made my heart pound harder than any argument ever had. I swallowed and leaned forward slightly. "Before I say anything," I began, "I just want you to know I'm not here to make you uncomfortable." "You're not," she replied, though her expression stayed unreadable. "Go on." I inhaled shakily. "Lina, I messed everything up." She didn't react. She just watched me, steady and patient, which somehow made it harder. "I hurt you," I continued. "I chose someone who didn't value me over someone who did. I ignored what mattered. I ignored you. I ignored myself." Her eyes lowered for a moment, but she didn't interrupt. "I thought I was making the right choice," I said. "I thought chasing something else would make me feel stronger. But all it did was show me how weak I actually was." Lina exhaled slowly. "You don't have to explain everything at once." "I do," I insisted, "because I've never explained any of it. Not properly." She lifted her gaze again, calm but curious. "Then say what you need to say." "I should have chosen you," I said. The words cracked on the way out. "I should have trusted what we had. I should have listened to you. I should have been better." My voice dropped. "You deserved better than who I was." She didn't flinch, but something softened in her eyes, something that hurt even more. "And I'm sorry," I said. "Not the kind of sorry people throw out to feel better about themselves. I'm sorry because I see it now. Every wound, every moment, every time you tried. I'm sorry because it took losing you to understand who you were in my life." Lina rested her hands around her cup but didn't lift it. "I hear you. I'm not asking for anything," I said quickly. "Not forgiveness, not another chance, nothing. I know I don't deserve that. I just needed to tell you the truth. Finally." She stared at the table for a moment before speaking. "You know, back then, I used to imagine what I would say if you ever apologized." My heart pounded painfully. "What did you imagine?" "That I'd be angry," she said. "That I'd tell you how badly you hurt me. How deeply it cut. How long it took to stop wondering what I did wrong." She sighed gently. But when the pain faded, the anger faded with it. And I realized something. "What?" I asked. "That I didn't want to spend my life hating someone I once cared for." I nodded, throat tight. "You didn't deserve hate. And you didn't deserve to carry guilt forever," she added. I blinked, startled. "What do you mean?" "I forgave you," she said quietly. "A long time ago." The words didn't hit me like relief. They hit me like the truth. Heavy, honest, impossible to run from. "But," she continued, eyes meeting mine, "forgiveness doesn't mean I can go back." The cafe seemed to fall silent around us. My fingers went numb. "I know," I forced out. "I didn't come to ask you to." She gave a faint, sad smile. "I'm in a different place now. I'm building a life I'm proud of. I'm growing, healing, changing, and I want to keep moving forward without reopening old wounds. Yours or mine." "I understand," I whispered. "Do you?" she asked gently. "Yes," I said, even though it stung so sharply I had to exhale through the pain. "I really do." She reached for her cup and finally took a sip. Then I'm glad you came today. You needed closure, and I needed to say this. Thank you, I murmured. For listening, for being honest, for everything. You'll be okay, she said with a soft certainty that nearly broke me. You just have to let go of what already ended. I nodded slowly. And you? I'm already okay, she replied. Her calmness was the final blow and the final gift. When she stood up to leave, she gave me one last gentle smile. Goodbye, she said. Goodbye, I whispered. And as I watched her walk away, I finally understood something. I had lost her forever, but for the first time, I also understood why I had to. I didn't expect to feel anything when I heard Sara's life was falling apart, but somehow, it felt calm, like the storm I'd been trapped in for months was finally passing. Ayman walked into my room one afternoon, phone in hand. Bye. You won't believe this, she said, a mix of shock and amusement in her voice. Sara's been fired, and Cameron left her. I didn't react immediately. I just nodded, staring at the wall. I see. Ayman frowned. You don't even sound happy. I'm not, I said. I'm done. That's all. What do you mean, done? She asked, lowering herself onto my bed. Don't tell me you're still thinking about her. I'm not, I said firmly. She's irrelevant now. Her choices, her consequences, they aren't my responsibility. Ayman blinked. Wow, that's actually impressive. I shrugged. It's called surviving. A few days later, her messages started. I didn't even check them at first. My phone buzzed nonstop. Calls, texts, social media messages. The same desperate tone. Please, I made a mistake. I need you. Don't leave me. I can't live without you. I finally glanced at one. It made me pause for a fraction of a second. Sara, I was wrong. I see it now. I want to fix everything. Please give me another chance. I laughed quietly. Not bitterly. Not angrily. Just quietly. You think it works like that? I muttered. Another message appeared. I'm crying. I've lost everything. I can't. Cameron left. My job is gone. I have nothing without you. I stared at the screen, my thumb hovering over reply. But no words came. Not hate. Not anger. Not love. Nothing. Just nothing. I pressed block. Ayman peeked over my shoulder. Did you? I blocked her, I said calm. All of it. She doesn't get to pull me back in. She blinked impressed. Good. That's really good. It felt good. Not the pleasure of revenge. Not the sweetness of someone failing. Just peace. Silent, steady, quiet peace. Later, I went downstairs. My mother was in the kitchen, humming softly, preparing tea. She looked at me, and for the first time in months, I felt something shift in her eyes. You look different, Beta, she said carefully. Calmer, more mature. I paused, letting her words sink in. I feel different, I admitted. Like, I'm not carrying all the weight anymore. She smiled, pride in her eyes. I'm glad. You needed that. Yeah, I said softly. I really did. That night, I sat alone on the balcony, watching the city lights blink one by one. A cold breeze swept past, and I realized something important. Sara's downfall didn't bring me happiness. Lina's absence didn't bring me sorrow. I didn't hate anyone anymore. I didn't crave revenge. I didn't even crave love. I simply existed. It was strange, peaceful, terrifying in its own way. Ayman joined me, sitting beside me without a word. You look finally yourself, she said quietly. I think I am, I replied. The version of me that used to chase the wrong people, beg for attention, and make excuses. That guy is gone. She smiled softly. It's good. I like this version. I like it too, I said. Even if it's lonely sometimes. You're not lonely, she said. You're free. And freedom feels different from loneliness. I nodded slowly. It does. You're right. A few hours later, I heard a knock at the door. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Sara. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. My thumb hovered over block again. But I had already done it in my mind. Her cries, her desperation. They no longer had power over me. I finally realized something I had refused to see for months. Karma isn't always loud. It doesn't need my involvement. It just comes. Slowly. Painfully. Precisely. And when it does, you don't need to rejoice. You just need to witness it and keep walking. I felt a strange gratitude for it, for the lessons it forced upon me, for the clarity it gave me. Watching Sara unravel didn't make me feel superior. Watching myself survive made me feel strong. When my mother called me for dinner, she looked at me again, her pride evident. And for some reason, that mattered more than anything else in the world. I smiled at her genuinely. I'm ready, I said. For life. For everything. And for the first time in months, I meant it. Sara's chaos would fade. Cameron would move on. She would find someone else. Or perhaps no one. None of it mattered. Not anymore. Because I had found something far more valuable. Peace, self-respect, and the quiet knowledge that I had survived my own mistakes. And that was enough. I woke up early that morning, sunlight spilling across the floor, and realized something had changed. The weight that had been pressing down on me for months, Sara, Lina, my mistakes, it wasn't gone, but it wasn't suffocating me anymore. I felt awake. Iman came into my room, smiling. You look lighter, she said, raising an eyebrow. Almost like you're breathing again. I guess I am, I said quietly. Finally. She flopped onto the bed beside me. So, what's the plan? Are you going to keep wallowing or start living? I think it's time to live, I admitted. Slowly, carefully, but really living. She nudged me playfully. Good. About time. I laughed, the sound hollow at first, but gradually warming. It's funny. I thought I'd never laugh again. You're allowed, Iman said. Even after everything. I lost her, I said, staring out the window. Lina, the girl my family loved. The girl who truly loved me. Iman didn't say anything. She just let me speak. And I can't go back, I continued. I can't undo what I did, can't rewrite my mistakes. I have to live with them. But I can learn from them. I can rebuild. Iman finally smiled softly. You're finally admitting that you're stronger than your past. I nodded. It took losing everything to see it. Losing Sara, losing Lina, seeing my own failures. But I'm seeing it now. I can see it too, Iman said, her voice calm. You're not the same person. You're better. I chuckled quietly. I hope so. Later, I called my mother. We talked for hours. Not about Sara, not about Lina, not about the past mistakes, but about life, family, and small things that mattered. Her laughter filled the room over the phone, and I realized how much I had missed these moments. By noon, I was at work. Papers, meetings, emails. But instead of feeling trapped, I felt grounded. Every task I completed, every small achievement, reminded me that I could still control something in my life. That control, that clarity, felt like victory. In the evening, I met Uncle Farid at the park. You've changed, he said, watching me skip a rock across the pond. Calmer, stronger, quieter. I see you finally owning yourself. I had to, I said. There's no coming back from what I lost. But there is moving forward. Good, he said. And Lina? I shook my head slowly. She's happy. She doesn't need me anymore. And that's fine. I don't resent her. I don't even miss her in the way I used to. I only respect her now. And I let her go. Wise, he said with a nod. You finally understand what's worth keeping and what's worth releasing. I watched the sunset, painting the sky in streaks of gold and pink, and realized that for the first time, I wasn't haunted. Not by mistakes, not by loss, not by regret. I was simply present. Ayman joined me later, carrying 2 cups of coffee. She handed me one without a word, sitting beside me. We watched the sun dip below the horizon, the city lights blinking on one by one. You're at peace, aren't you? She asked softly. I think I am, I admitted. Not because the past is fixed, it never will be, but because I finally understand myself. My choices, my failures, my regrets, they've all taught me something I needed to know. Which is, she prompted, that clarity, strength, and the courage to face life without looking back. She smiled. Then it's official. You survived, and you're finally ready for life. I took a deep breath. Yes, finally. Later that night, I sat alone in my apartment. No distractions, no noise, just me and my thoughts. I thought about Lina, about Sara, about all the ways I'd stumbled, all the ways I'd failed. And I forgave myself, silently, fully, because I knew that forgiveness was the first step toward rebuilding. I thought about the life I wanted, steady, honest, deliberate, a life focused on work, family, growth, and healing. Not revenge, not regret, not longing, just life. I smiled softly, closing my eyes, feeling the peace I had been chasing for months. For the first time, I didn't feel incomplete. For the first time, I felt whole enough to begin again. And in that quiet moment, I whispered the truth I'd finally embraced. I chose wrong once. Now I choose myself.